Hello, welcome to the Security Update with me, Hamse Daabjeerin. This is our first episode of this new year 2021, which we will be covering for you the latest stories that matter security in the African nations. And here is the top stories of our program. Ethiopian security forces killed at least 76 in violent arrest of musicians killing, Rights Body says. Egypt summons Ethiopian diplomat over Nile Dam remarks. Turkey confirms one citizen killed in Mogadishu's bombing. Around 300 people arrested in New Year police operations in Kampala, Uganda. Bomb kills 2 French soldiers in Mali. Al-Shabaab radio station pumped in airstrike. Welcome to the program. Ethiopia's state-appointed Human Rights Commission said on Friday that security forces killed at least 76 people and wounded nearly 200 during violent unrest in June and July that followed the killing of a popular singer, Hashalu Hunduza.
Ethiopian security forces killed at least 76 people in violent unrest after a musician's killing. Ethiopia's state-appointed Human Rights Commission said on Friday that security forces had killed at least 76 people and wounded nearly 200 during a violent unrest in June and July that followed the killing of a popular singer. The commission also detailed brutality by civilians involved in the clashes, saying that some attackers beheaded and tortured people after dragging them from their homes and using ethnic slurs. The widespread and systematic attack on civilians by attackers constituted crimes against humanity, the commission said. Its report on the violence, some of the worst in Ethiopia since Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed took office in 2018, said a total of 123 people were killed and at least 500 were injured. Mr. Abiy's spokeswoman did not immediately respond to a request for comment on the report. Ethnic violence has surged in many parts of Ethiopia, Africa's second most populous country, since Mr. Abiy took office and lifted the lid on the long repressed tensions between more than 80 ethnic groups. Mr. Abiy has urged national unity, but powerful ethnic-based movements are opposed to this. The summer violence began amid protests triggered by the killing of Hashalu Hunduza, a popular singer from the Oromo ethnic group, the country's largest. Oromos, including Mr. Hashalu himself, were a strong force in the anti-government protests that piled pressure on the former ruling coalition and eventually led to Mr. Abiy being selected as the Prime Minister in 2018. The street protests after the singer's death spread from the capital Addis Ababa to the surrounding Oromia region. The Commission's report found that the attackers, moving in groups and armed with knives, stones, flammables, electric cables, axes and machetes, beat, injured and killed people in a gruesome manner, including through torture and beheading. In October, Ethiopia's Attorney General charged 4 suspects with terrorism in connection with the killing of the singer. The Rights Commission, the proportionality of the force employed in some parts of the response by security forces to the unrests was highly questionable. The violence in June and July was not related to a conflict since November between federal forces and a rebellious force in the northern Tigray region that is believed to have killed thousands and displaced around 950,000 people.
Land disputes have sparked a new phase of conflicts in the war-torn Tigray region, barely a few weeks after the government declared a victory over Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF). In early December, locals in Alamata, a farming town in southern Tigray, celebrated the release of Berhanu Pele Tevera, a self-described political prisoner under Tigray's former ruling party.
Land dispute has sparked a new phase of conflict in the war-torn Tigray region, barely a few weeks after the government declared a victory over Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF). In early December, locals in Alamata, a farming town in southern Tigray, celebrated the release of Berhanu Pele Tevera, a self-declared political prisoner under Tigray former ruling party. However, his return has sparked land dispute among those with different ethnic affiliations. He was detained in 2018 by the former Tigray People's Liberation Front party for advocating his fertile land located in an area known as Raya, of which Alamata is the biggest city, had no business falling under Tigrayan control.
We don't want to live with Tigray people who don't know our culture and traditions. If Dr. Mulunega comes here, there will be 2 or more demonstrations against it. We don't want him to come. From this moment on, we are part of Wolo. and we want to live with Amhara people.
Bereanu was detained for 2 years and is returned, agitating for the transfer of Alamata and its surroundings to Ethiopia's Amhara region, which borders Tigray to the south. The same land dispute that has ravaged Alamata has struck western Tigray, where activists and politicians also accuse the TPLF of annexing land historically administered by ethnic Amharas, although it is not clear that the federal government's long-term plans are for the contested territory. But Amhara region's president, Agnehu Tasheje, has said Amhara security forces did not get involved in the conflict to reclaim the land. Meanwhile, tensions over land have also stoked fear in Tigrayans who have also lived on the same land.
When a wave of popular protesters swept Ethiopia.
In the meantime, the Ethiopian government, under the leadership of its Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed, is working to bring up a caretaker administration in Tigray led by Mulu Nega, a Tigrayan former higher education official. The war in Tigray has killed thousands and displaced more than 950,000, according to the United Nations estimate, while about 50,000 of them have fled to Sudan, the neighboring country. The conflict started on November 4 after Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed announced a military attack targeting Tigray ruling party, the Tigray People's Liberation Front (TPLF). He said the move came in response to TPLF orchestrated attacks on federal army camps in the region. Abiy Ahmed declared victory after federal troops took the regional capital Mekele in late November, saying hostilities were completed.
Egypt's foreign ministry has said it has summoned Ethiopia's top diplomat in Cairo over comments by Addis Ababa officials regarding a controversial dam on the Nile. A new statement on Thursday, the Egyptian ministry condemned what it called an attack on the Egyptian state and accused Addis Ababa of using an aggressive tone.
The Egyptian ministry summoned the Ethiopian charge d'affaires in Cairo to explain comments by the spokesperson for the Ethiopian Ministry for Foreign Affairs regarding domestic Egyptian affairs, it said late on Wednesday. The statement did not cite specific comments, but followed a statement by the Ethiopian official on the Grand Ethiopian Renaissance Dam, JERD, Africa's biggest hydroelectric project, which has raised fears for vital water supplies downstream in Egypt and Sudan. They know the jam won't harm them. It's a diversion from internal problems, Dina Mufti, the Ethiopian ministry's spokesman and a former ambassador to Egypt, said on Tuesday. In a new statement on Thursday, the Egyptian ministry condemned what they call an attack on the Egyptian state and accused Addis Ababa of using an aggressive tone to hide Ethiopia's multiple failures at home and abroad. Ethiopia's Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed on November 4 ordered the military to confront the ruling party of the dissident northern region of Tigray, where fighting is feared to have left thousands dead. Egypt, Ethiopia and Sudan have been in talks since 2011 but have failed to reach a deal on filling the dam. The negotiations have been stalled since August. The Nile, the world's longest river at 6,000 kilometers, is a lifetime supplying water and electricity to 10 countries. Ethiopia views the dam as essential for its growing power needs and insists that the flow of water downstream will not be affected. The dam is at the center of Ethiopia's bid to become Africa's biggest power exporter. Egypt opposes unilateral moves by Ethiopia.
On Saturday morning, 3 people have been confirmed dead and several others are feared dead after a palm went off at a road construction site between Mogadishu and Afgoye towns. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for the attack. A suspected suicide bomb hit an area along Mogadishu-Afgoye road, with initial reports indicating Turkish workers constructing the road were targeted. Sources said there were unconfirmed number of casualties in the Saturday morning attack. Reports also confirmed 3 people were killed and several others were wounded, but no official statement was yet made. Al-Shabaab claimed the responsibility for the attack. The road construction, which started in 2018 and funded by Qatar, was halted last year after a car bomb attack killed close to 90 people. 2 Turkish workers were among the dead in the December 2019 attack. Turkey government has confirmed the death of one Turkish civilian and injured another one. Ankara on Saturday strongly condemned the attack targeting employees of a Turkish company in Somalia. According to the statement, Turkey government has strongly condemned Saturday's attack in Mogadishu, which killed one Turkish national and injured another one. The statement reads that Turkey is saddened to receive the news of the attack with a palm-laden vehicle against a Turkish company in Somalia. Turkey Foreign Minister Mevlut Cavusoglu has extended condolences to the family and friends who lost their loved ones in the attack. The Turkey government also affirmed that this attack will not stop from them supporting Somalia and will maintain in good relations. On Saturday, a suspected suicide bomb hit an area along Mogadishu-Afgoye Road, with initial reports indicating Turkish workers constructing the road were targeted. 4 people have been confirmed dead and several others are feared dead after a bomb went over the road construction site between Mogadishu and Afgoye towns. Al-Shabaab claimed responsibility for this attack. A Jubaland parliamentarian killed on Friday evening in an explosion on his car. Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for the attack, and this is not the first time the group has killed a senior officer in the region. Khalif Hashim Noor, who was a member of the Jubaland Regional House of Representatives, has been killed after an explosion in his car, which was believed to be from a device planted in the car. Some eyewitnesses said it was a remote-control car detonated from a far distance. The regional administration has strongly condemned the incident and affirmed they will apprehend the perpetrators. Ahmad Madobe, the regional leader, extended condolences to the family and the nation for the loss of their MP. Initial reports say the member of the parliament parked his car in the city of Kismayo. Unfortunately, his car exploded while driving on an area known as Farjano. Al-Shabaab has officially claimed the responsibility of the attack. This is not the first time Al-Shabaab has killed a senior officer in the region, but this is the first attack they carried out since the new year has begun. The police in Kampala Metropolitan conducted several operations in various areas on Thursday night where they netted several people who were engaged in partying in past, despite the government ban instituted in March due to the outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic. But we will be back more after the short break.
Hello out there. Tune in to CBA TV, the voice of East Africa and beyond. There's so many people around the world who are watching along with you.
Welcome again to the program. The police in Kampala Metropolitan conducted several operations in various areas on Thursday night where they netted several people who were engaged in partying in past, despite the government ban instituted in March due to the outbreak of COVID-19 pandemic.
In the new year 2021, we choose hope over fear. We choose confidence over doubt. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the year that we all have been waiting for. This is 2021. We have been planning for this year. We've been waiting for this year. And now we are here.
National Unity Platform presidential candidate Robert alias Bobi Wine has launched an app he says will help in their personal tallying of votes. Mr. Bobi Wine said that the app named YouVote was developed with sophisticated technology and can be downloaded by all voters to make sure that the votes are seen as they came from various polling stations.
And I want to take this opportunity to announce to the nation and to the world that for the last few months we have been building an application that will help us bring together the results of this election. That application is called YouVote, and you will be able to access it from Google Play Store. This application will help us ensure that we tighten every noose that the dictatorship was trying to use to rig our vote. With that application, you ensure that you get the declaration form and send it to that app. You take a picture of the DR form and send it to that app. That can be done by our agents, but it can also be done by any citizen, because this is not only about agents, this is about all the people of Uganda. And I want to invite all the people of Uganda to kindly be part of this, because this is going to be historical.
Bobi Wine explained January 2nd during his end-of-year address at his home, Megere, Wakisto district. According to Bobi Wine, the app can be downloaded from Play Store and can be used by all people to view anything that's happening in the various polling stations. During the same address, Bobi Wine also said that he would be going to the east for some of the districts he did not manage to visit.
I want to appeal to you not to be robots. Be human beings. You are citizens. You are men and women of honor. You wear our national badge and our national flag with honor. You deserve dignity. You don't deserve shame. I want to thank all of you for listening to me, and I want to request you to spread this message far and wide. Thank you very much for God and my country, and I wish you a very happy New Year 2021.
An airstrike suspected to be American has destroyed Al Furqan radio station belonging to Al-Shabaab militant group in Lower Shabelle region. The reports say the radio station was one of the target sites of the attack, adding that the station's space was completely destroyed and all those who were inside were killed. According to sources, the radio station, which broadcasts daily news about the attack is carried out by the Al-Shabaab against government sites, was destroyed last night after missile hit Kunya Paro town, controlled by the militants. Though no group has officially claimed the attack, but suspected to be American airstrikes. Reports say the radio station was one of the target sites of the attack, adding that the station's base was completely destroyed and all those who were inside were killed. U.S. mission in Africa, which frequently targets Al-Shabaab and its bases, has not yet commented on the latest attack. Somalia and U.S. governments have recently been carrying out airstrikes to target Al-Shabaab bases. Last week, U.S. Africa Command conducted an airstrike targeting an Al-Shabaab compound in the vicinity of Sako, southern Somalia. Al-Shabaab has shifted its attacks to hit and run tactics, also carried out deadly palm attacks in central and south regions of Somalia. The Somalia Prime Minister Mohamed Hussein Roble has toured Balidogle military base in Lower Shabelle region, southern Somalia, ahead of the U.S. troops withdrawal in this month. Mohamed Hussein Roble, the Prime Minister of Somalia, has paid a working visit to Balidogle military base in the Lower Shabelle region of Somalia. He is accompanied by ministers and military officials and will be monitoring the operations of Danab and U.S. troops based there. During his visit, the Prime Minister will meet with the U.S. and Danish military officials to discuss the fight against Al-Shabaab in southern Somalia. He will also assess at Balidogle camp for special training for the Somali National Army's Danab commandos. The visit comes at a time when AFRICOM is winding up its stay in Somalia. The outgoing Trump administration set January 20th as the final exit day for the U.S. troops in Somalia. The Pentagon said the troops will be stationed in neighboring countries, including Kenya and Djibouti. 3 people confirmed dead and 8 others were wounded in bombing attacks in the Shabelle region of Somalia. No group has yet claimed responsibility for this attack. Initial reports indicate 3 people have been confirmed dead and 8 others were wounded in a pumping attack in the Shabelle region of Somalia. Reports added Somali soldiers are among the victims of the attack. The injured soldiers were transferred to a hospital in the capital Mogadishu for treatment. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack. This attack comes days after a suicide bomber targeted a road construction project site that killed at least 4 people, including Turkish nationalists. Al-Shabaab has claimed responsibility for Saturday's attack. For the past decade, Al-Shabaab has been fighting to overthrow the federal government and to establish an Islamic State for their own interpretation in the region. On several occasions, the federal government and AMISOM pledged to intensify the war on Al-Shabaab, but the group still conducts military operations and assassinations in Somalia and the region. Suspected Al-Shabaab operative was killed in Mogadishu by the police after he allegedly had a hand grenade at a security checkpoint. The assailant attempted to flee, but reports say he was eliminated by a plainclothes police officer. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack at the checkpoint. According to sources, the man attacked the checkpoint with a grenade, forcing the soldiers to open fire. The blast happened in the Bakare area of Halwadak district, where 3 people, including soldiers, were injured. The assailant attempted to flee, but reports say he was eliminated by a plainclothes police officer. No group has yet claimed responsibility for the attack at the checkpoint. The attack comes hours after Al-Shabaab heinous attacks outside Mogadishu killed 4 people, including Turkish nationalists. The attack targeted road construction workers in Hawa Abdi locality along Mogadishu-Afgoye Road. More than 14 others wounded in the blast, whose responsibility was claimed by Al-Shabaab. In 2019, Al-Shabaab suicide bomber had targeted workers at road construction site funded by Qatar in Mogadishu ex-control vicinity. The attack killed over 80 people, including 2 Turkish engineers. 2 French soldiers were killed when their vehicle hit an improvised explosive device in northeastern Mali on Saturday, just days after 3 others died in similar fashion. The death is brought to 50 to the number of French soldiers killed in the West African nation since France first intervened in 2013 to help drive back jihadist forces.
2 French soldiers were killed in Mali on Saturday when an improvised explosive device hit their vehicle, according to President Emmanuel Macron's office. The French Minister for the Armed Forces, Florence Parly, paid tribute, saying, "The 2 embody the honour and bravery of the Chambrant Hussars, and her thoughts are with their families." In a statement, the French presidency said Sergeant Yvonne Hoyen and Brigadier Loic Rizza were killed while on an intelligence mission in the area. France has more than 5,000 troops spread across the arid Sahel region and has been fighting armed groups alongside soldiers from other countries. The deaths come just days after 3 French soldiers were killed in the Hombori region on Monday, taking the death toll to 47. The Al-Qaeda-linked group To Support Islam and Muslims has claimed responsibility for that attack. France first intervened in Mali back in 2013 to help drive back armed groups linked to Al-Qaeda. President Macron affirmed France's determination to continue its role in the battle against terrorism after Saturday's attack.
And with that story of 2 French soldiers were killed when their vehicle hit an improvised explosive device in northeastern Mali on Saturday, just days after 3 others died in similar fashion, which the total number of deaths brought to 50 to the number of French soldiers killed in the West African nation since French first intervened in 2013 to help drive back jihadist forces. Will wrap up our program for this time. But on this new year, the security update team, the chief in editor of production Abdulaziz Arishakola, the camera operator Ayanle Ismail, and me Hamse Daabjeerin wish for the African nations and around the globe for peace and prosperity for the more coming years. Thank you very much for being with us, and Happy New Year.